So empecemos. So we can begin now. Buenos tardes, boys and girls. Thank you for joining me today. And thanks for being so flexible with our 3DU not working. Sometimes that happens. It's good old technology, but we can always improvise, and we have our Zoom at least. Hopefully everybody can hear me properly. I'm assuming you can because you have not said that you can't. Let's go ahead and do an attendance, and we can also mic check while we're doing that. So just to make sure that I can hear you, because I know Shekinah was having a little bit of trouble with the mic last week. So when I call your name, boys and girls, will you please say presente o aquí? So Bailey.
Aquí.
Gracias. Callie.
Aquí.
Muy bien. Colton. Are you there, Colton?
Oh, sorry. Presente.
Gracias. Brianna.
Aquí.
Muy bien. Faith.
Aquí.
Gracias. Shekinah.
Aquí.
Excelente. And Zeke.
Presente.
Awesome. Okay, so we're missing Isabella and we're missing Wyatt and Logan today as well. So it's a small little class today, boys and girls, but we'll have fun anyways. Okay, so because we don't have our PowerPoint, I'm actually going to send you the link in the chat to open up your lesson today. So just hang on 1 second, por favor. We are going to... You're just going to highlight the link and then post it into, or paste it into a new web browser, please. So there it is. And you can open that up and then we'll follow along with the lesson today. Now I'm thinking we may do our full hour. We'll see how it goes, but you may be let out a little bit early. But I have quite a bit of new material for us to cover today, so let me know if you can't open that, por favor. And we can try. Mine's acting a little bit wonky. Hang on a sec. There we go. All right. So Unit 2, Lesson 4, January 12th, 2018 already. Introduction. Today we'll be learning about Spanish subject pronouns, an introduction to verbs, and then we were going to do our house tours, but unfortunately we can't today, so we're going to have to be really patient and hang on, but it will be really fun once we do end up getting to do that. So, empecemos. Let's start. So the date is la fecha. That's what the date is in Spanish. And you can read it out, January 12th, 2018. Now, I like to ask, ¿qué fecha es hoy? ¿Qué fecha es hoy? And that means, what's today's date? Now, in Spanish, you say, hoy es el, which means today is the, and then you'll say the number, and then de, and then you'll say the name of the month. So I didn't put the name of the month. Oh, sorry, Brianna, I just saw your message now. It says you need to install something. Oh, it's good. Good, it's working now. Okay, excelente. So I'm going to ask, ¿qué fecha es hoy? And when you answer, you can say, hoy es el, and then put in the number in Spanish, if you can remember that. And then day, and then so I said what month it was last week, but does anybody remember what month it was in Spanish? I would love someone to volunteer to answer the question, ¿qué fecha es hoy? Who thinks they got it? So you can type in the chat bar if you think you want to volunteer. And if you don't remember, that's okay too, because January is actually enero. That's January. So you're going to say hoy es el, and then the number, what the day is. So that you see it's a 12. So what's 12 in Spanish? And then de enero. Could I get one volunteer, por favor? Zeke, would you like to say it out loud? The OS starting it?
Hoy es hoy es 12.
Mm-hmm. De.
Hoy es 12 de enero.
Sí, perfecto. Hoy es el 12 de enero. So that's our day for today. So this is what we're going to do every week, and somebody will get a chance to say it. Boys and girls, will you say out loud where you are right now in your house? Hoy es el 12, which is 12, de enero, which is January. So go ahead and practice saying that out loud. Good. And remember, we don't pronounce the H on hoy. It's hoy es el. So that's something important to remember. Okay. Let's continue scrolling down on our lesson here to subject pronouns. So important. I love subject pronouns. I is the subject pronoun because these things tell us who we're talking about, and they go before a verb. So a verb is like an action word. So I'm going to type in a verb in the chat box here. So throw is a verb, like throwing a ball. When we say subject pronouns, that's who's throwing the ball. So you throw the ball. The subject pronoun is you. We throw the ball. The subject pronoun is what? Type it in. What's the subject pronoun for we throw? Good, Brianna. Gracias. Yes, so the subject pronoun is we. In English, she walks. So we have the subject pronoun and a verb. She tells me who the subject is or who's doing the walking, right? And then it's the same in Spanish. So en español, ella anda, which is she walks. So ella is she. So we always have those subject pronouns. Let's go over the subject pronouns, and I think some of you should know this because you did it for homework. So yo is I. So go ahead and say yo. Yo. Say it a couple times over out loud where you are. And what's you? Can I get Shekinah? What's you in Spanish? So you can go ahead and unmute your mic, Shekinah. What's you in Spanish? And we're just following along. Pardon?
Two.
Two. Sí, excelente. And Sunshine 2005. Is that Isabella by any chance? Excelente. Isabella, I don't know if when you came in, but here is the lesson for you to open up. Okay, so I'm going to send it in this chat box. You can just open up that. So we're going to follow along just like we do in our virtual classroom. Okay. Could I get Faith telling me what he and she is? He and she in Spanish, Faith. Por favor.
In Spanish,
Sí.
is it for she? Is it Ella?
Ella. Yes, it looks like it says Ella, but remember the two L's make a y sound.
Okay.
So you want to try again?
Sure. Ella.
Ella, excelente. And what about he in Spanish? You can go ahead, Faith, and finish that one too. What's he in Spanish? My dear, are you looking at the lesson right now?
Yeah.
No?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Is it E? I don't know how to pronounce that.
El. El. So he
Okay,
is
L.
el.
L.
And she is ella. Excelente, gracias. Brianna, can you tell me what we is if it has a feminine ending?
Nosotras.
Nosotras. Muy bien. And then if it has a masculine ending, it's going to be nosotros. Can I please get Callie, can you tell me what you is if it's plural? So if I'm talking about a whole bunch of people and saying like you all people, what would that be in Spanish? So are you there, Callie? Okay, that's fine. So boys and girls, we're following along here on the lesson. So right now I'm right below it where it says subject pronouns in red font, and then I'm going down and it says yo, I, to, you, and it's looking at all the different pronouns we use. So can I please get Colton? Would you tell us what you plural is? You plural. So we're down on the list here.
Masculine is vosotros, and feminine is vosotras.
Perfecto. Excellent pronunciation as well. Vosotros y vosotras. But for vosotros and vosotras, we actually use it mostly in Spain. So we don't use it in a lot of the other Spanish-speaking countries, but sometimes you'll see that. So it's really good and important to remember. And could I please get, who hasn't spoken in a while? Bailey. Could you tell us what they, masculine and feminine, are on the bottom of the list there?
Ellos and ellas.
Good, very close. So muy bien. So we know with the two L's in Spanish, whenever we see two L's, it actually doesn't make the L sound, but it makes the Y sound like a Y does. So ellos y ellas. You want to try that again, Bailey?
Ellos and ellas.
Perfecto. Muy bien, gracias. So if we're going to say they and say that it's a group of boys, then we're going to use ellos because it's masculine. But if we're talking to a group of girls or a group of female something, adults, or even a group of female animals, you can say they, but it's ellas. So in Spanish, we always pay attention to the masculine and the feminine. Yes, Isabella. So that's good. Thanks for letting me know that. So actually, we can't get into 3DU at all today. So we're just going to use Zoom today. There's a little bit of a technical issue that they're going to figure out, but it should be working by the end of today. I would be surprised if it didn't work by the end of today. So it's all good. We're just going to improvise and use Zoom today. So now, boys and girls, you're going to actually look at this list. We're going to play a little bit of a game now to test your memory. So I want you to look at the list of all the subject pronouns: yo, tú, él, ella, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, and study it for, I'm going to give you like 10 seconds, okay? And then we're going to play a little memory game. So go ahead and study that. ¿Estás listo? So are you ready? Type in C if you're ready. Okay. Good. All right. So now I want you to scroll down so you can't see your chart. Just from your memory. Okay, boys and girls, you're going to type in the chat box what the Spanish word is for we. But it's going to be masculine we. Masculine we. Nosotros. Good, Callie. Bien, Isabella. Bien, Brianna and Shekinah. Nosotros. What about if I'm talking about, I'm saying they, but I'm speaking to a whole bunch of girls, or I'm speaking about a whole bunch of girls. They. Ellas, sí, perfecto. Good. What about I? Talking about myself, I. Yo, good. And also be speaking these out loud too when you're typing them, boys and girls. Great practice. What about you? What's you? Two. Excelente. And he? Good, Callie. Good. Awesome job. What about if I'm talking about you plural, but it has a feminine ending? Ooh, might be a tricky one. You plural. So I'm talking about a whole bunch of people by saying like you all, but it has a feminine ending. Vosotras, sí. Vosotras. Good. Awesome job, guys. What if I'm talking about she? What's she? Good. Ella. So everybody say ella out loud. Ella. Ellas. Yes, so that's plural. Exactly. Plural feminine, Bailey. So you're talking about a whole bunch of girls when you say ellas. Good. Okay. Awesome. So I think you guys have that down pat. Really important to memorize these all because now we're going to be learning about, or when we start learning about verbs, you got to remember your subject pronouns because it changes. It changes the verb a little bit depending on who we're talking about, which we'll get into a little bit later. Now I want to, we have quite a bit of time left. 2 o'clock almost. Okay, so we're going to go over the homework. And then we're going to do the house tours after, but we won't have time, or we're not able to do that today. So I'm going to give you a little more of a lesson on verbs. How about that? And so you guys are going to have a lot of knowledge, and then I'm not going to see you for 2 weeks. So it'll be good for you to have all that to think about and to go over and practice with, okay? All right. Boys and girls, I'd love someone to actually read out the homework. Who feels confident to read out the homework for me? Thank you, Shekinah. That'd be awesome. Why don't you do the first part? Why don't you do up to the end of 2 there?
We have to practice giving our house tours.
Oh, but
And
also read the blue font, por favor.
okay. No classes next week.
Mhm.
Practice giving your house tour if you haven't yet presented. Keep practicing house vocabulary and subject pronouns. Speak the words out loud use Quizlet notes or flashcards.
Muchas gracias, Shekinah. Can I get Zeke to do 3 and 4 for us, por favor? So Zeke, I think you'll have to unmute yourself. There we go.
Study your regular verb conjugation chart. Continue on your Duolingo to your next level.
So I'm going to show you what a verb conjugation is just after this. So you're going to study the chart that you're given. So it'll be all in your homework email and your notes, and you can just read them over and just have your own study time for the next little bit here. Awesome, gracias. And then I'll just read your assignment here. It's a little assignment. It's going to be a little bit of an extra thing. So it's going to be a written assignment, which means you can just write it to me in an email if you like, or a Word document and then email it to me. But I'd like you to do this before next Friday, so I know that you have some work to do for this week and that you finish it on time, okay? So you're going to write out one sentence. If you want, you can write out 2 sentences or 3 sentences to really impress me, but you only have to write out one sentence. And you can email it. Tell me what your favorite room in your house is and why. So I'm going to give you the option of telling me what your favorite room in your 3DU house is, or you can tell me what your favorite room in your actual real life house is. And you're going to say this in Spanish. And there are 2 examples here, so please be looking at these examples while I read them. Example 1, you can say, mi habitación favorita es el cocina. ¿Por qué es? So what I'm saying is, my room, or habitación, my favorite room is the cocina. Does anybody remember what cocina is? Type in what cocina means. What's cocina? Kitchen. Good. Yeah, so my favorite room is the kitchen because es, or because it's, and then you're going to pick a descriptive word. So do you remember last term how I had a whole list of all the descriptive words or adjectives? So when we were looking at describing animals, we were able to, yeah, awesome, Isabella. We were able to describe them as like beautiful or inteligente, or, there was a whole bunch of them. So you can go ahead and look at those notes if you still have them, and hopefully you do. Or you can find it on Google for your descriptive word. Example number 2, yo prefiero la sala porque es, and then, so I prefer what sala? What sala? ¿Qué es sala? Living room. Sí, muy bien. Absolutamente. So I prefer the living room because es, and then you can put your descriptive word. So I would love actually for us to practice speaking these out loud because next class I want you to actually speak them out loud for us. So for example number 1, I'm going to say it, and we can put la cocina porque es bonita. We can say it's beautiful. So I'm going to say it, and then I'd love, good question, Brianna. It can be either or. It can be your 3DU house or your real house. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to say it in Spanish, and then I'd love a couple volunteers to try saying it out loud as well. And after I say it, and if you're not volunteering, you can just even say it out loud in your house, okay?
Excuse me?
Pardon?
I have a question.
Yes.
About like the walls in your house. Can you change the walls, like the color of the walls if you want to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Gran pregunta. Okay, great question. So I'm going to ask Mr. Miller.
Okay.
Like, you want to put different wallpaper on and kind of jazz up the walls a bit?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I would love to find out the answer to that as well. So I'll just give him a little email after this. All right, Colton?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to read out example 1, and this is a sentence that you can write and speak out for your little mini assignment here. So listen up, and then I'm going to ask for a couple volunteers to try and pronounce the sentence as well. Mi habitación favorita es el cocina porque es bonita. We'll just call it bonita, which is beautiful. So, can I get a volunteer to say that? Who would like to try saying that out loud? And this is just for practice. Just for practice. Is anybody feeling brave? All right, Zeke. Okay, Zeke and then Brianna.
Mi habitación favorita es el cocina porque es
And you can say it's beautiful. So what's beautiful? Bonita.
bonita.
See, awesome job. Go ahead, Brianna.
Mi habitación favorita es el cocina porque es bonita.
Perfecto, gracias. And then we can say, if we wanted, another example would be yo prefiero, so I prefer, la sala, the living room, porque es, and then what should the sala be? Who has a descriptive word that the sala could be? So the sala is the living room. It could be, what could the living room be? What about grande? What about grande? So we have a big living room, so I'll type that in there. Okay, who wants to read that one out? I'll say it once more. Yo prefiero la sala porque es grande. Any volunteers? Yay, Faith. All right.
Yo prefiero la sala porque es grande.
Oh, muy bien. Can you say yo prefiero?
Yo prefiero la sala porque es grande.
Gran trabajo. Great job. Gracias. All right. So those are two things that you're going to want to know, and the one that you choose is up to you. So you can use example 1 or example 2. You can choose your own descriptive word. Okay. And practice speaking out loud as part of your homework, because I want you all to say it out loud next class, which isn't next Friday, but the Friday after that. Any questions about that? Okay. We're not going to do our house tours, so boys and girls, you can go ahead and close that one down. And I'm actually going to send you another little lesson here through a link that you'll put into a new web browser, okay? What was that, Bailey? Do you have a question, Bailey? Okay, so there's the verb lesson. So we're going to jump right into verbs now that we have our subject pronouns down pat. What are you saying no to, Bailey? You can go ahead and speak in your mic if you like.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, good. No preguntas, excelente. All right, so let's go ahead and open that link there, and we're going to start with verbs. So we have our subject pronouns, super important for forming sentences. And remember, our goal is to be able to form sentences in our heads and when we're writing. And that's kind of, we want to be able to create these sentences. So verbs are a huge part of sentence structure. So we need to know what the verbs are, right? Verbs are really fun, and there are a lot of them to know. So I hope you have fun learning them too. What is a verb? What is a verb? Go ahead and type in the chat box what you think a verb is. An action word. Good, Brianna. A doing word. Yes, Zeke. So they are action words. So give me an example of a verb. Give me an English example of a verb. Run, yes. Jump, see. Jump, yes. So these are all doing. So the subject, who is the person, they're doing the verb. They're doing the jumping. So that's how we know. Now back to the lesson here. So verbs are often spelled a little bit differently depending on who is doing the action. For example, I can say, I dance, you dance, oh, he dances. So notice that the he form has the extra S on it. So the same thing applies to Spanish. So the verb is going to change a little bit depending on the subject pronoun. Here's another example. The verb bailar means to dance. And we can say yo bailo, which is I dance. Tú bailas, which is you dance. And then él baila, which is he dances. So look at the verbs, boys and girls. Look at the bailar verbs. Bailó, bailas, baila. How on earth do we know how to change these and what the rules are? Okay, so there are three main groups of regular verbs in Spanish. What I mean by regular verbs is that they follow a specific and predictable pattern of conjugating. And just so you know, when I say conjugating, it just means changing. So we're just changing the verb to make it fit. Can I please get Zeke to say number 1? So we're talking about the 3 types of regular verbs. So Zeke, can you read out the first type of verb for us?
Those that end in R.
In AR.
AR.
See.
Like hablar.
Hablar. An excellent job not pronouncing the H. Awesome. Like hablar. Hablar is actually to speak in Spanish. So we have the verbs that end in AR. And I would love Shekinah to read number 2, por favor.
Those that end in ER, like comer.
Like comer. So those that end in ER. Okay. Can I get Colton to read number 3, por favor?
Those that end in IR, like viver.
Good try. Vivir. Vivir. Yes, so those are the 3 types. So when we're looking at verbs, we always got to look at what it ends in. Now, hopefully your brains are doing okay because this is a lot of material and less play today. But let's try and continue on. Let's challenge our brains at this point to keep reading. The infinitive is the base form of the verb, such as to speak, to eat, to live, etc. So in Spanish, all infinitives end in AR, ER, and IR. So an infinitive, now that's a word that you're going to hear. An infinitive is the verb, but it hasn't been conjugated or changed yet. So the verb is telling us it's an action word, but it hasn't been changed. So in English, the verb might look like to jump. Or no, let's do to eat. To eat. The infinitive in Spanish might be comer. So it's saying to eat. It's not really telling us who is doing it. So that's the infinitive when it hasn't been changed yet. And then to conjugate a verb, so I'm reading the purple part that's underlined here. To conjugate a verb, or to change a verb, it means that we're manipulating the infinitive verb. So we're manipulating that verb so that it agrees with the possible different, that it agrees with the different possible subjects. So what I mean by that is if I have a yo, which means I have to change the verb comer, don't I? I have to change that verb to match yo. So it's going to be yo como, but we'll learn about that after. Here is the present tense conjugation of the infinitive to speak in English. So hopefully you guys are reading along as well. To speak is the infinitive, and then let's do some conjugating. I speak, you speak, he speaks, she speaks, we speak, you all speak, they speak. And that reminds me of I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. But the important part to look at is how when it says he speaks, we're adding the S. So we change it in English. We also change it in Spanish. Okay, so it says here, the present tense in Spanish can mean three things. So when you say yo hablo, it can mean I speak, I am speaking, or I do speak. So that's a little bit of a side note. And let's continue scrolling on, boys and girls. Can I please get, who hasn't spoken in a while? Faith, can I please get you to read the first top part of, just on the top of that chart we have in the bolded black?
There are three main groups.
Hang on, sweetie. I think you gotta scroll down.
Okay. How do you say that word?
Are you on the last part where right below there's like a big chart?
Yeah.
Okay, to conjugate these present tense. Yeah.
To conjugate these present tense regular verbs in the present tense, supply, drop the ending AR, ER, OR, IR, and add one of the following.
Oh, so this is a rule, you guys. Thank you, Faith. So you're going to simply drop the ending of that verb, depending on who your subject is. So let's take a look at this chart here. Now we have the subjects all down the left-hand side. So this is who we're talking about. I, you, he, she, we, they, you. So, and then on the top here, we have what we'll do if it's an AR verb, and then going along the top, what we're going to do if it's an ER verb, and what we're going to do if it's an IR verb. So if I have the word hablar, which means to speak, I'm going to use my little chat box here. Now, which column does it go in? Hablar. So take a look at the last two letters on hablar in the chat box. Which column is it going to go in? Column number 1, column number 2, or column number 3? Go ahead and type in the chat. Good. Good, guys. This is telling me that you're understanding. Excelente. See, so it's simply going to go like that. And we're going to just drop the AR. That's it. So if it's hablar, boys and girls, will you please tell me what it will be if I want to say you speak? You speak. So go ahead and write the subject pronoun and then write the conjugated verb. You speak. Hablas, sí. Tú hablas, sí. Good. Yeah, so it'd be tú hablas. Tú hablas. Awesome. What about if I want to say, so I'm going to give you a new verb here, because you guys are really smart. Comer. Comer means to eat. And I want to say we eat, but I'm talking about all girls. We eat, but feminine. And it's an ER verb. We eat, feminine. What do you think, guys? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. Comemos, sí. So, good guess, Bailey. Nosotros is we. Nosotros is we. Comemos, sí. So, but you want to type in the subject pronoun as well, because we're just beginning. So, I'm going to say nosotros comemos. Nosotras comemos, because I said it was feminine. Nosotras comemos. We eat. Awesome, guys. Let's test you again. What else should we say? I'm trying to find a lesson here. Sorry, one second, guys. Let's conjugate and continue by scrolling down on your lesson. And there's some other ones that will conjugate on here already. So note, you need to memorize your subject pronouns in order to know how to conjugate the verbs. So let's try and conjugate some more. I'm going to give you the infinitive again, which is the verb that hasn't been conjugated. And you're going to go ahead and write. So we can follow along here on the lesson. Trabajar. Trabajar. How do you say she? So trabajar is to work. Is to work. And we're looking at the endings, and we're seeing that it's actually an AR at the end. So we can go up to our little chart here, and we can, why don't you tell me how to say she works? Now remember to type in the subject pronoun as well in the beginning. So you're going to have two words. How do you say she works? Oh, there's my little chihuahua. So the verb, boys and girls, are you looking at the, oh, ella trabaja, good. So the infinitive is trabajar. And we're going to say she works. What do you think? I should be hearing from more of you. Let me know if you have any questions. But we're looking at the chart on our list. Trabaja, good. And Bailey, can you type in the pronoun as well? Ella trabaja, good, boys and girls. Muy bien, much better. Ella trabaja, she works. Guess what? You just formed a sentence in Spanish. Congratulations. So it's as simple as that sometimes. Can you tell me we work? And you can do either masculine or feminine, whichever you choose. Good, Bailey. Good, Isabella. Good, Shekinah, Faith, Bailey, Colton. Awesome, Brianna. What about we work? Masculine or feminine? It's still an AR verb, so we're going to use the same column to do our conjugations. Awesome, Bailey. Bailey, would you like to volunteer to say that out loud? Nosotras trabaja?
Nosotras trabaja.
Nosotras trabaja. Awesome. I'd love to hear Faith say that too.
Nosotros trabaja.
Sí, nosotras trabaja. And Brianna, would you also say that, por favor?
Nosotros trabaja.
Awesome job, guys. You are brilliant. And let's do a quick one. What would I work be? We're getting a lot of verb practice here. What would I work be? Go ahead and type it out, boys and girls, por favor. Yo trabajo. Sí. Yo trabajo. Colton, will you say it out loud, por favor?
Yo trabajo.
Perfecto, gracias. Okay, so let's move on to the next. We got 2 more, and then we're going to be dismissed. So you guys did a lot of learning today, and you can take the extra minute or so to relax. So the infinitive is comer. So look at the 2 last letters on the verb, and that's going to tell you how to conjugate it, okay? And you're going to use that chart again. How do you say we eat? And that can be feminine or masculine. Nosotras comer. Sí, sí, Brianna. Yo comer. That's not quite it, Faith. What's we? What's we? And you're going to have to conjugate your words. So it's not going to be comer. Good job, guys. Good trying. But remember that we find what we is first. That's the first thing we do. Nosotros. And then we change the verb. We change the verb by taking away the ER and adding nosotros comemos. Okay, so that's the masculine form of we, but this is we eat. Present tense. We're eating right now. See, Bailey, good. So we've changed the verb now, haven't we? And that's exactly how we're supposed to do it. Awesome job, guys. What about you eat? Let's try again. What about you eat? Tú comemos. Close, close. Tú comas. Okay? It's an ER at the end. So make sure that you're going in the ER column to learn how to change the verb. So tú is right. And what would it be for the verb? Close, Bailey. Very close, Faith. Not quite. So tú, and then we look on the chart and we find where the ER verbs are at the top. And then we move our mouse down. I'm going to share my screen here and just show you what I mean. Okay, you boys and girls should be able to see my screen. It's taking a while. Oh, can you see my screen? Okay, so here we are. So if it's comer, I wonder if I can type in here. Comer is an ER verb because it has an E and an R at the end. So what I'm going to do is tú, so I know where that is. Okay, and then I'm going to go on top here. And it's an ER verb. Okay, so that's where I stop. And then I'm going to go down, 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 and oh, it says ES. So that's what I'm going to change my verb to have on the end instead of the ER. Does that make sense? So let's stop the share here. Tú comes, sí. So what would it be, boys and girls? For you eat? Sí, Colton. Muy bien. Good, Bailey. Tú comes. Tú comes. So that's kind of how we use the chart, okay? And let's scroll down to the very, very, very last one. And I gave you a little bit of a tricky verb here. Insistir. Insistir. What might that mean? Oh my goodness. What do you think? Insistir. It's actually, the English word is inside of the Spanish word. Sí, to insist. Awesome. So insistir means to insist. How would you say they insist? Now remember, the first thing we do is look at the verb and see if it's an ER or an AR or an IR ending, and then find it on your chart. We want to say they insist. Find your subject pronoun. Good, Brianna. Any other guesses for that one? Go ahead and type it out. Ellos insisten. Sí. Good, Colton. Good, Bailey. Good, Brianna. Awesome job. Awesome, Faith. Ellos insisten. Can I get a volunteer or two to actually say that out loud? Because it's a little bit tricky. Ellos insisten. Okay, Isabella.
Ellos insisten.
Sí. Go ahead, Faith.
Ellos insisten.
Insisten. Sí. Awesome job. What about he insists? You guys are doing really well. We're almost finished. What about he insists? Good try, Bailey. Not quite. Ellas is actually talking about girls. And it's plural, but he is singular. He is going to be singular, so it's going to be at the more of the top of your chart, because ellos and ellas and ellos are talking about more than one person. Okay. Él insiste. Good, good. That's exactly right. Él. Él is he. Singular. One person. Good. How are you guys feeling? Is that all right? A little bit challenging? Is it, if you can tell me if it's easy, medium, or hard in the chat box. That would be really good feedback. Good, you guys got that. Good, Isabella. Good, Shekinah. Only be in Faith, Bailey, Colton. Looks good. Medium. Okay. Hard. Okay. Medium. All right, guys. Let's do one more, and I'm going to share my screen for this one too. And then we'll do a little prayer, and then you guys can be dismissed, okay? So the next one I'm going to write is you insist, okay? But you is actually going to be more than one person, so plural. Plural means more than one person. So I might say you insist when I'm maybe talking to a group of people and I'm talking about all of them insisting. I say you insist. Okay, so that's going to be on our chart. And that's actually going to be the vosotros. Okay, so that's your hint. So I want you boys to go up to your chart. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. Now, the verb we're looking at here is insistir. How can we make that say you insist? Well, we know it's an IR verb. Okay, so we're gonna go up to the chart here. Subject pronoun. Okay, who are we talking about? Step number 1. We're talking about you plural. So is Joe you plural? Is 2 you plural? No. 2 is you singular, so only one person. Él and ella are he and she, so no. And then nosotros y nosotras is we, so that doesn't fit. Oh, what's vosotros y vosotras? That's you plural. That means you plural, okay? So once we have our subject pronoun, then we're going to find it on the list. So we know it's going to be down here somewhere. Is it an AR verb? No. An ER verb? Nope. An IR verb? Insistir. That's an IR verb. So we know that we have to go do all the way down until we get to vosotros and we stop. And then when it says is, that means this is what we're going to use to replace the last 2 letters on our verb insistir. So instead of insistir, what will it be? Instead of insistir, what will it be if we're going to replace with those 2? So vosotros. Good. Good. Awesome. What do you think, Bailey? Good, Faith. So, yes, C. So, and the reason is because we know that we have to, because it's a vosotros and because it is an IR verb, we found on the chart that we actually have to replace insistir. We have to take off the I and the R and replace with is, because that's what it says on the chart. So it's actually going to be insistis. Insistis. Colton, will you say vosotros insistis out loud, por favor?
Vosotros insistís.
Insistis. Muy bien. You guys, this is the end of our class. La clase es termino. So the class is over. Does anybody have any questions before we pray and then are dismissed? So you don't have any verb homework. This was just your lesson. I'm going to ask that you do practice what we learned today by reading over notes and homework and such. Yes, Faith, what's your question?
So you're gonna send us an email of what we need to do.
Totally. And I always post the homework link in the virtual classroom, but we can't get there today, obviously, but it always is there too. But I always send an email so you know as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. De nada. And Isabella, do you want to share what your prayer request is?
Sure. Well, we're trying to sell our house here so that we can move to Nova Scotia. So I just pray, like, to sell our house quickly. Yeah, quickly. And so that my brother, he had to go to the ER a few days ago. Because he had, like, the flu that's going around. He had that, and it was he had a seizure from it, and he's never had one before, so we were really worried about him, and just want to pray, like, so that it doesn't happen to him again.
Absolutely. That's scary stuff when we're thinking about our health, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any prayer requests?
We're traveling to Edmonton, so we could pray for safety for us to travel down there.
Good one. Okay, boys and girls. Let's just bow our heads and pause what we're doing for a minute, and we'll just have a pray. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you that we can come together and learn Spanish and have fun doing it. We love you, Lord. We ask that your hand is upon us and you are giving us strength as some of us, including Isabella's brothers, dealing with health issues. Lord, I ask that you will put Isabella's brother to a peace of mind and have him feel hopeful and happy even though he's going through some health problems, God. You know what's going to happen, and I ask that he becomes healthy and you put your hand upon him and he doesn't experience any sickness or any health problems anymore, Lord. I also pray that Isabella's house will sell quickly and soonly so they can move and start a new life in Nova Scotia, Lord. We trust that whatever happens, it's your will, Lord. We ask that Bailey has a safe trip to Edmonton, and Lord, you make the roads clear for her and clear the snow and ice, please, God, to make it safe and that everybody is safe in their travels as well around all the snowy locations, Lord. We love you, God. Thank you so much for this day, and I pray that these kids have fun learning Spanish and continue to have a good day and a great weekend. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Okay, guys. You are officially dismissed for the weekend. So thank you so much. And see, amen. Gracias. So I hope you guys had a nice time today, and we'll see you not next Friday, but the one after. De nada. Gracias, you guys. You're awesome.
Gracias.
Have a great day. De nada. Gracias, boys and girls. We'll see you soon.